Hi everyone. So today I would like to explain Chapter 9, Assessing Writing from Language Assessment Book by Douglas Brown. So let's get started. Types of written language. The same classification scheme is reformulated here to include the most common genres that a second language writer might produce within and beyond the requirements of a curriculum. There are some genres of writing. Here, academic reading, there are papers and general subject reports, essay, compositions, academically focused journal, and etc. And here, job-related writing, there are message, letters, emails, memos, reports, and many more. And then we have personal writing, such as calendar entries, greeting cards, invitations, recipe, advertisements, and many more. And then types of writing performance. For categories of written performance that capture the range of written productions are considered here. First, imitative. To produce written language, the learner must attain skills in the fundamental basic tasks of writing letters, words, punctuation, and very brief sentences. And then we have intensive. Beyond the fundamentals of imitative writing are skills in choosing appropriate vocabulary within the context, collocations, and idioms, and correct grammatical features up to the length of a sentence. And then we have a responsive. Here, assessment tasks require learners to perform at a limited discourse level, connecting sentences into a paragraph and creating a logically connected sequence of 2 or 3 paragraphs. And then, unless we have extensive, extensive writing implies successful management of all the process and strategies of writing for all purposes, up to the length of an essay, a term paper, a major research project report, or even a thesis. And then the micro and macro skills of writing. For the micro skills, produce graphemes and orthographic patterns of English, produce writing and an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose, and then produce an acceptable core of words and use appropriate word order patterns, and then use acceptable grammatical systems such as tense, agreement, pluralization, patterns, and rules, and then express a particular meaning in different grammatical forms, and then use cohesive devices in written discourse. And then for the macro skills, use the rhetorical forms and conventions of written discourse, and then appropriately accomplish the communicative functions of written text according to form and purpose. And then convey links and connections between events and communicate such relation as main idea, supporting idea, new information, given information, generalization, and exemplification. And then distinguish between literal and implied meanings when writing. Uh, and then correctly convey culturally specific references in the context of the written text, and then develop and use a battery of writing strategies such as accurately assessing the audience interpretation using pre-writing devices, and then writing with fluency in the first drafts using paraphrases and synonyms, and then soliciting peer and instructor feedback and using feedback for revising and editing. And then designing assessment tasks for imitative writing. Many beginning level English learners, from young children to older adults, need basic training in an assessment of imitative writing. The rudiments of forming letters, words, and simple sentences. First, we have tasks in hand writing letters, words, and punctuation. A limited variety of types of tasks are commonly used to assess a personal ability to produce written letters and symbols. A few of the more common types are copying. There is nothing innovative or modern about directing a test taker to copy letters or words. And then listening close selection tasks. This task combines dictation with a written script that has a relatively frequent deleted ratio. And then picture cue task. Familiar pictures are displayed and test takers are told write the word that the picture represents. And then for our completion task, a variation on pictures in the use of a simple form that asks for name, address, phone number, and other data. And then converting numbers and abbreviations to words. Some tests have a section which numbers are written. For example, hours of the day, dates, or schedules, and test takers are directed to write out the numbers. And then spelling tasks and detecting phoneme-grapheme correspondences. A number of task types are in popular use to assess the ability to spell words correctly and to process phoneme-grapheme correspondences. First, we have a spelling task. In a traditional old-fashioned spelling task, the teacher dictates a simple list of words, one word at a time, followed by the word in the sentence repeated again with a pause for test takers to write the word. And then picture cue task. Items are chosen according to the objectives of the assessment, but this format is an opportunity to present some challenging words and word pairs such as put or book, read or read, bit and bite, and etc. And then multiple choice techniques. Presenting words and phrases in the form of a multiple choice task risk crossing over into the domain of assessing reading. But if the items have a follow-up writing component, they can serve as formative reinforcement of spelling conventions. And then we are into the intensive or controlled writing. This next level of writing is what second language teacher training manuals have for decades called controlled writing. First, dictation and dictotome. Dictotome. Dictation is simply the rendition in writing of what one hears orally, so it could be classified as an imitative type of writing, especially since a proportion of the test takers' performance centers on correct spelling. And then grammatical transformation task. Teachers use this technique as an assessment task, ostensibly to measure grammatical competence. Numerous versions of the task are possible. For example, change the tenses in a paragraph, change full forms of verbs to reduce form, and then change statement to yes or no, WH questions, and many more. And then we have a picture cue task. The main advantage in this technique is in detecting the almost ubiquitous reading and writing connection and offering instead a nonverbal means to stimulate written responses. For example, a short sentence, picture description, and picture sequence description. And then a vocabulary assessment task. Most vocabulary study is carried out through reading. The major techniques used to assess vocabulary are defining and using a word in a sentence. And the ordering task. One task at the sentence level may appeal to those who are fond of word games and puzzles, as ordering or reordering a scrambled set of words into a correct sentence. And then short answer and sentence completion tasks. Some types of short answer tasks were discussed in chapter 8 before because of the heavy participation of reading performance in their completion. And then we are into the issues in assessing responsive and expensive writing. Both responsive and expensive writing tasks are a subject of some classic, widely debated assessment issues that take on a distinctly different form, thus at the lower end production of writing. First, we have the authenticity. Authenticity is a trait that is given special attention. If test takers are being asked to perform a task, its face and content validity need to be assured. And then scoring. Scoring is the thorniest issue at these final two stages. of writing. With so many options available to a learner, each evaluation by a test administrator needs to be finely attuned not just to how the writer strings words together, but also to what the writer is saying. And then we have time. Yet another assessment issue surrounds the unique nature of writing. It is the only skills in which the language procedure is not necessarily constrained to time, which implies the freedom to process multiple drafts before the text become a finished product. And then we have paraphrasing. The initial step in teaching paraphrasing is to ensure that learners understand the importance of paraphrasing to say something in one's own words, to avoid plagiarizing, to offer some variety in expression. And then we have a guided question and answer. Another lower order task in this type of writing, which has the pedagogical benefit of guiding a learner without dictating the form of the output, is the guided questions that essentially serve as an outline of the emergent written text. The following kinds of questions might be posed to stimulate a sequence of sentences. You can see the guided writing stimuli. There are several numbers that you can pay attention for. And then we have a paragraph construction task. Assessment of paragraph development task uh, takes on a number of different forms. There are topic sentence writing, topic development within a paragraph, and development of main and supporting ideas across paragraphs. And then strategic option. Developing main and supporting ideas in the goal for the writer attempting to create an effective text, whether a short one to two paragraph one or an extensive one of several pages. And then first we have into the attending to tasks. In responsive writing, the context is seldom completely open-ended. The task has been defined by the teacher or test administrator, and the writer must fulfill the criterion of the task. And then attending to genre. The genre of writing that were listed at the beginning of this chapter provide some sense of the many varieties of text that may be produced by a second language learner in a writing curriculum. Assessment of the more common genre may include the following criteria, along with choose factors from the list for example, reports, summaries of reading, lecture, videos, responses to reading, and many more. And then we are into the test of written English. Test preparation manuals such as the Phillips Longman introductory course for the TOEFL test advise to test takers to follow 6 steps to maximize success on the test. First, carefully identify the topic and then plan your supporting ideas. In the introductory paragraph, please state the topic and state the organizational plan of the essay, and then write effective supporting paragraphs, show transition, include a topic, sentence, specify details, and many more. And then restate your position and summarize in the concluding paragraph, and then added sentence structure and rhetorical expression. Okay, and then we move into the next slide. Wait a minute. Okay, and then this is about the scoring methods for responsive and extensive writing. Responsive and extensive levels of writing, 3 major approaches to scoring writing performance are commonly used by test designer. There are holistic, primary, trait, and analytical. First, we discuss about the holistic scoring. Each point of a holistic scale is given a systematic set of descriptors, and the reader evaluator matches an overall impression with the descriptors, and the reader evaluator usually but not always follow a prescribed prescribed pattern. And then primary trait scoring. Primary trait focus on how well students can write within a narrowly defined range of discourse. And then analytic scoring. Classroom evaluation of learning is best served through analytic scoring, in which as many as six major elements of the writing are scored, thus enabling learners to home in on weaknesses and to capitalize on strength. And then beyond scoring, responding to extensive writing, assessing, assessing initial stages of the processing of compassing. The following are some guidelines for assessing the initial stages. You can see here, focus your efforts primarily on meaning, main idea, and organization. Comment on the introductory paragraph. Make general comments about the clarity of the main idea and logic or appropriateness of the organization. As a rule of thumb, ignore minor or local grammatical and lexical errors. Indicate what appear to be major errors by underlining the text in questions, but allow the writer to make correction. And then do not rewrite questionable, ungrammatical, or awkward sentence, rather probe with a question about meaning. Comment on features that appear to be irrelevant to the topic. And then assessing later stages of the process of composing. The guidelines if assessing later stages of the process of composing are comment on the specific clarity and strength of all main ideas and supporting ideas and on argument and logic. Call attention to minor grammatical and mechanical errors, but directed the writer to self-correct, and then comment on any further word choices and expressions that might not be awkward, but are not as clear or direct as they could be, and then point out any problems with cohesive devices within and across paragraphs. If appropriate, comment on documentation, citation of sources, evidence, and other support, and then comment on the adequacy and strength of the conclusion. Okay, so that's all about chapter 9. Thank you for attention and see you.